Batman. Batman isn't just fighting criminals, he's fighting an unwinnable war against Gotham itself. And Gotham never loses. Batman, from the DC universe, is a detective and vigilante. Although he has no superpowers, he is one of the world's smartest men, and among the greatest fighters able to take down almost any foe, from Gotham's criminals to galactic-level threats. However, his pursuit of justice is a never-ending war, and no matter how much he fights, he will ultimately lose. It can be argued that Batman is directly responsible for countless murders and atrocities in Gotham. He sets himself apart from the monsters and villains, refusing to cross certain lines. But this is exactly his downfall. By choosing not to end the lives of villains like the Joker, countless innocent people are sacrificed in the process. His selfish ideals stand in the way, and because of his decision, many pay the price. Another reason he will never win? Gotham won't let him. Gotham is designed to be broken. It's a machine that churns out criminals and murderers. The city's conditions are so dire that, out of desperation, people turn to crime because they have no other way to survive. Batman can take down one mob boss, but another will rise. He can arrest one serial killer, but a dozen more are waiting in the shadows. Gotham is an ecosystem of suffering, and Batman is just one man trying to fight an infinite war. John Wick. John Wick has killed hundreds in search of vengeance, but the one thing he truly wants, it's already gone. Jonathan Wick, from the John Wick movie franchise, is a retired contract killer who earned a reputation as one of the most lethal and professional assassins. But after a terrible incident, he returns to his old ways. However, John isn't really fighting people. He's fighting an entire super machine of violence. The High Table has an endless supply of trained killers and hit squads, and his legendary status makes him a highly sought-after target. No matter how many assassins he takes down, more will always rise. His enemies aren't just individuals. They are part of an institution, and an institution can't be killed. But the saddest part? He has already lost everything. His wife and dog were his only escape from the world of violence, and now that they're gone, no number of victories will ever fill the void they left behind. Because in reality, John Wick's story ended the day his wife died. Rick. Rick has defeated gods, rewritten time, and broken the laws of reality. But there's one opponent he'll never beat. Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty is an alcoholic, super genius mad scientist who prioritizes scientific discovery and himself above everything else. He's the smartest being in the universe, yet he'll never truly win, and here's why. His super intelligence seems to be more of a curse than a gift. He can create anything and manipulate anyone, yet none of it fulfills him. His intelligence allows him to see past the illusions of love, morality, and purpose, leaving him trapped in a reality where nothing really matters. He pretends to be above his own emotions, but at his core, he is truly broken. He drowns himself in alcohol and distractions, masking the pain that follows him wherever he goes. Because no matter how far he travels or what he discovers, his greatest enemy isn't the universe, it's himself. Constantine, a gambler at heart, a sorcerer by trade. John Constantine always knew the house would win eventually, and the price of his next bet is something he cannot afford to lose. John Constantine is a British occultist, con artist, and anti-hero who operates in the dark corners of the supernatural. He doesn't fully rely on his sorcery, often using cunning and resourceful approaches to battle threats. However, John can never win, as the use of his magic comes with a hidden cost. His most powerful weapon is his mind, but his most frequently used weapon is his magic, and the universe always has a way of balancing the scales. Every demon he has outwitted, and every trick he pulls off, leaves scars and debts behind. Eventually, he's left with nothing to bargain with besides his soul. He also fights an everlasting battle that cannot be won, as for every demon defeated, another one arises. If he has victories, they are temporary at best, and the biggest reason why he'll never win in the end is because the house always wins. Constantine is a gambler, and most of his victories come from huge gambles that he makes. But gambling is not a sustainable strategy. Soon his luck will run out, and when that happens, he'll pay the ultimate price. Ed just wants jawbreakers. The problem? His plan to get the money might get him arrested. Ed, from Ed, and Eddie, is the leader of the gang of the Eds. They constantly make scams with the goal of getting quarters from their victims, which they plan to use to buy jawbreakers. But there's one small issue. Their scams never work. Every plan ends in disaster, humiliation, or both. A major part of this problem is Ed himself, as he is driven by greed and shortcuts. His goal is to make money, and instead of earning it in an honest way, he looks for the most deceptive and easiest ways to scam the money out of the other kids. But his plans never work because they are always poorly executed and rushed, making them doomed to fail from the start. Another unfortunate reason is his choice of allies, as Double D is always morally conflicted, and Eddie is clumsy. This combination adds to the fact that Ed's scams never go smoothly. With a team like this, failure isn't just likely, it's inevitable. Don Quixote. Don Quixote is a great and heroic warrior, if only his battles were actually real. Alonso Quijano, from Miguel de Cervantes' novel Don Quixote, is an aging Spanish nobleman who has delusions that he is one of the last surviving knights. He constantly misinterprets ordinary objects as grand threats, leading to comedic and tragic outcomes, all while his friends and family attempt to bring him back to reality. Don Quixote fights the greatest enemies, but they aren't really there. He battles foes that are figments of his imagination, such as when he believed he was fighting giants when they were actually just windmills, or when he mistook an army for a simple flock of sheep. These battles are illusions, all made up by him, and therefore he is fighting his own mind. There's no real win for him to achieve. He is just stuck fighting his own mind, guaranteeing perpetual defeat. His honorable code and values are out of place, trapped in a time mismatch. While his intentions of doing good and upholding peace are admirable, they are not really needed. 17th century Spain has shifted toward more practical concerns, leaving no time for these outdated, silly quests. Because of this, he remains forever out of step, unable to find a place where his deeds are recognized or rewarded.